Everyone talks about consistency. Even I've spoken about it many times on this podcast. But no one talks about that point right before you start creating, right before you begin. That moment where your brain freezes, your ideas seem to scatter, and suddenly you're cleaning your kitchen instead of creating. Been there. This podcast, and more specifically, this episode, is for creatives who are struggling to start. You want to make things again, but you're finding it difficult to create that momentum for yourself, and you maybe are needing a little push, a little incentive to get going. We're talking about the psychology of beginnings and to begin something. Why starting feels so heavy and how to actually move through those moments. Let me just say it out loud right here, right now. We have a permission problem. I know, it's a hard pill to swallow. I'll give you a second. Hello, you lovely, beautiful beings. Welcome back to Muse. My name is Damaris. This is the podcast where we are talking about what it means to live a creative life. How do we actually create in a way that is sustainable, in a way that fulfills us? And how do we move closer to actually getting started in creating the things that we want, getting out of stuck moments, building momentum and strategy into our daily practice of creativity? Because what comes with all these things is not just actually creating something, but working on ourselves and learning how to move with evolution and changes that come not just in our lives, but in our work, because they influence each other. So we're here chatting about these topics that sometimes are difficult to understand or to want to dive deep into, but they really do make a difference in giving you clarity of what it is that you desire and the kind of life that you desire to live as a creative, as an artist, as a multi-passionate being. So if that sounds like something that is right up your alley, like something that you're looking for, then this podcast is for you. Then these episodes and the things that I talk about on here, and hopefully in the future soon, we'll have more people, more creatives that I talk to about it, will give you inspiration and motivation to keep going on your journey and your path of creativity and growth and alignment. But let's get back into this topic of beginnings and our permission problem. Let's be clear, beginning is emotionally expensive. It does take a lot of willpower, mental clarity, and the desire to overcome those initial blocks or resistance. Emotionally, that is and can be quite draining. But if you really think about where this fear is coming from, it's not about doing the work. Creating the thing is not the problem. It's actually before you start creating. It's that little moment, well, maybe not so little for a lot of us, I'm sure, of getting started, opening yourself up to the work. For most of us, our brain interprets beginning as a risk of embarrassment, risk of visibility, risk of wasting time, risk of confirming your doubts. So, no wonder you stall. It's not that you can't create. It's that starting demands a version of you that you're still learning to trust. But I think if we can break down that moment before we begin, we can come to understand what is actually stopping us from moving into action? What is that resistance that we're experiencing? Because what actually happens in that moment is overthinking, emotional static, identity confusion, there's perfectionism spikes, feeling overwhelmed, or even decision paralysis. And if you've been listening to me for a little bit, or this is your first time, you're probably going to notice very quickly that I have a lot of interests. I am a multi-passionate, multi-potentialite, multifaceted person and pursue many interests at the same time. And if you're like me, that beginning part is going to impact you so much more because you have so many things, so many interests that you want to follow. And it's difficult to continually start new things and be consistent in them. Because our brains, as multi-passionate beings, loves the possibility of things, the possibility to create, to explore, to experiment. And we can see all the possibilities at once. The ideas that we come up with feel high stakes. Your brain could love novelty, but fears commitment, right? And the reality is that you freeze because you care so deeply about the things that you want to do and pursue, not because you're incapable. So there's this myth called readiness. I'm sure you've heard it before. I definitely have. And in this myth, we believe that in order to start, in order to build momentum, in order to get our ideas out there, we need to wait until we're ready, until everything lines up. We're wanting certainty of something that hasn't been built before, that we haven't even tried yet. So it's kind of counterproductive. It's kind of something we're not going to be able to see until we actually do it. But you don't need clarity to begin. You gain clarity by beginning. And I don't mean that you don't need clarity like in your idea or in the thing that you want to create or build. Yes, in that sense you do need clarity, but clarity to start is what becomes a hindrance. We don't need clarity to start. The clarity shows up when we start, when we begin. So let's talk about then, if it's not readiness, if it's not the fear of creating that is the resistance, then what is the real permission that we're actually looking for, that I was actually mentioning at the beginning? There are 3 kinds of permission. Number 1, internal. Do I trust myself enough to begin? Number 2, emotional. Am I allowed to not be perfect this time? And number 3, identity. Who am I if I actually take this seriously? You might be stuck because you're thinking that you have to prove something to someone, whether it's proving it to others or proving it to yourself. You might be scared that your first attempts at doing something you've never done before is going to expose you in a way that you won't be able to come back from. Or maybe you just don't want to feel disappointed again at starting something and maybe not finishing it, or it just doesn't work out the way that you thought. Let me tell you that all those things you're feeling, I have felt at one time or another. They're 100% valid, but I think that's where you're keeping yourself limited to the potential that you seek. That person or that vision that you have for yourself and the things that you truly desire are not outweighing these things that you think are more important. The exposure, the fear, the getting disappointed. Because what if you just went ahead and did it? Dealing with what comes after is much easier than staying actually stuck in this mental state and never trying to begin with. Never actually taking the next step, because that will always linger in your mind. And trust me, I've been there, until you do it, until you move forward. It will constantly be taunting you and questioning you why you're not doing the thing that you said you want to do. So, how do we begin without burning out or continually hitting that wall? I have 5 little mini steps or things to think about that could help you to start taking action towards starting. Number 1, pick a single tiny starting point. Not a let me start a podcast idea, but let me open my notes app and get an idea down. Let me kind of flesh out this concept. Not a let me return to my art, but let me sketch for 5 minutes and maybe see if I can do this every other day, or I can schedule this in once a week. Just start so small. Something easy that doesn't take a lot of effort, just to get that momentum going and you're feeling like you're moving towards something. Number 2, remove the emotional stakes, meaning this doesn't have to be good. It just needs to exist. You can literally say, this is a draft of a draft of a draft. You can make it like this is never going to see any public setting, but now I've put this whole thing together and it exists in the world. It's not just up here. Number 3, choosing momentum over mastery. Now, this is something that actually comes up for me pretty often because I struggle with the concept of wanting to be really good at something. I guess this idea of mastery and how it takes so many hours to master one thing. And I don't know if for me that's a real thing because I have so many interests that I don't know if I ever really master any of them. So I think instead of focusing on trying to become the best in that specific thing, choosing momentum and to take action and to keep moving forward and keep creating or keep adjusting, keep growing and evolving, those are the things I think that make a big difference in the long run than trying to focus on mastery of something. Not that it's not useful, of course. Mastery is amazing, and I think many, if not all, amazing artists mastered their form of art and creativity. Of course, like that is a real thing, and I think over time you build those hours by moving, by creating that momentum. You eventually become a master in that realm. But at the beginning, just starting out, you don't need to be a master. You need to be a student. You need to be able to start to create, not to be the best, right? It's just taking that first step. Number 4, create a routine or a ritual, something that marks the beginning. A drink, a location, a playlist, a phrase, something that triggers that, okay, I'm starting. Whatever it is that you're doing, okay, I'm starting that thing. Something that I've been doing, and I think when I have it, it works for me, is lighting my little candle. My friend made this for me, my lovely friend Anita. Shout out Anita. This is a sweater weather candle, and it's has a little wood wick, so it has this little crackling. It's essential oil based, so it's not so overpowering to my nose, but it's such a nice little thing to have and to light up when I know I'm coming to work, when I know I'm coming to show up to do something. It's like at the very beginning, when I come to sit down on my desk, I light my little candle, and it just initiates this kind of work mode, this, I don't know, kind of cozy vibe, but also let's start. So something like that, whether it's something you say to yourself, something you say out loud, place that you go to, your desk, your setup, something that marks that beginning for you. And last but not least, number 5, End before you're drained. This is something that I need to take more into account because I tend to push myself kind of past that point, but don't keep going until you literally have nothing left, because that's going to burn you out quick and you can't sustain that over time. Stop while you still have energy and you're feeling good and you want to come back to the work the next day. That's what's going to keep the momentum going. You want to be showing up at your desk or wherever every day, or a little bit every week, or whatever it is that works for you. So it always makes tomorrow easier. Think of tomorrow. Think of your future self. What is Damaris going to feel good about tomorrow? Okay? Having this done, having energy in the morning, getting to bed early, that's going to make her feel good. She's going to get started early on her work. Check, check, check. Right? Like, those are the things that you want to think and plan ahead for. Those are the things that are going to create momentum. And that's what we want. We want momentum. We want to be able to be at the beginning. Because again, the beginning is the hard part. The starting is the hard part. Beginning is at the heartbeat of Muse. Because Muse isn't about perfection. It isn't about a niche. It isn't about becoming a content machine. That isn't my idea or what I want Muse to be about. Muse is about returning to yourself, reclaiming your creative identity, getting into motion again, building consistency in a human way, in a way that doesn't build resentment. It encourages and facilitates the energy of creating and creativity as a whole. I built Muse for the people that feel the spark but don't know how to follow it anymore. Or for those that want to create again and actually stay consistent in doing it and actually keep going this time. What's one tiny beginning that you can do today that can help you get started? Not a full project, a single spark. Start small enough that you can't talk yourself out of it. Please share what your beginnings are. I'd love to hear what that looks like for you. And if you have those breakthroughs, like, please share. I want to be able to celebrate that with you because that's a big deal. And you should be proud of those breakthroughs. Even if they're small, even if you just do one thing, it's still a breakthrough. I want to close off by saying this is the direction that Muse is kind of heading in, if you haven't caught it already with like the things I've been talking about. But this is the momentum, and having these real conversations about creativity, momentum, identity, and actually being able to make things happen is something I'm incredibly passionate about for myself and in my own life. But what I want to be able to see others achieve as well. I think that creativity plays such a pivotal role in who we are as human beings, in existing in this world. We use creativity and problem solving in that way in all aspects of our lives. I just think we don't pay attention to it that much. But I think this is the time, with the way that the world is, the state of things. I think it is the moment where other multi-passionate creative beings like myself are coming together to build new things and new ways of thinking, and not just to create, but to become better beings and existing in this world with more consciousness, with more understanding and self-knowledge and personal growth that don't just impact yourself and the things that you're doing, but others and the people you interact with every day. Because I think that that is truly what's going to make a better world in the future if we can get that started now. And I know I've been evolving and changing and trying to really hone in on what Muse is about, because it's been about many, many things. It's kind of had the core things, obviously, like personal growth, creativity, and self-expression. Those are kind of my three pillars of what Muse is about. But I really want to be able to go deeper and have these types of conversations and move forward in really helping and supporting other multi-passionate creatives like myself to do the things that they want to do. I want to be that bestie, that encourager, that cheerleader for you and to be able to be a part of and see the things that you're creating and sharing my experience with the things that I'm creating and how that's going. The other reason that I wanted to share it in this way is because we're kind of coming to this closing period of 2025. This is the last Monday of November, and we're moving into a new year pretty soon. And I really want to start the new year with leaving 2025 with the intention of being solid in what Muse is about, what I'm about, what I want to share, having so much clarity that it's undeniable who I am and what I'm doing and how I want to show up and my work in 2026. So there's more of this to come. Not as intense though, because I know that was kind of intense, but more of this passion. As you can see, I'm a very passionate person. I'm very passionate about this. I'm really excited about kind of this new energy that's here right now to finish this year so strong and solid and ready to take on what's next. So if this is something that you're interested in, something that you want to be a part of, and you also want to be able to do that for yourself, then please follow, please share, like, subscribe, all the things, because that really helps me to know that you're into this type of content, that you want to see more topics like this, that you are following along and are part of this community, also being a creative, also wanting to grow as an individual in your own work and in your personal life. And then we can unite and be a good creative hub, team, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. I appreciate you in general. I hope you have an amazing day, night, week. And as always, keep creating. We'll see you next week. Bye.